What if Gi-Hun was still alive and Thanos saved him, not out of kindness, but madness? This is the shocking story of how Gi-Hun was kept alive for one final deadly game. Season 3 began with the infamous game of hide and seek, now deadly serious the knives and keys version. Players shuffled nervously as the random ball draw sealed their fates. Blue for the hunted with keys, or red for the hunters armed with knives. Thanos, as usual, barely seemed to care. He flicked his bloodshot eyes lazily between the chaos and the pills rattling in his cross necklace. The usual jittery energy from the other players didn't affect him. He was already riding a high, manic grin stretched across his face like a joker, daring fate to try him. Before the game, the opportunity to swap teams set off a frenzy of whispered deals and desperate betrayals. Thanos watched with detached amusement as players scrambled to avoid death or hunt easier prey. When a blue player nervously offered to switch, begging to join the Reds, Thanos just snorted, "You sure? Blue's where the action is, man." He ended up stuck with the red team, the killers, but it didn't matter much. Rules said Reds had to kill at least one blue or face instant death. Thanos didn't even flinch. The whistle blew. Chaos erupted. Thanos prowled the dim maze like a drugged predator, his eyes flicking wildly. He wasn't careful. He didn't need to be, but even in the carnage, Thanos couldn't suppress his grim jokes. "Hey, you, hide and seek, yeah? More like hide and bleed, am I right?" He cackled, brandishing his knife with theatrical flair. Nam-Gyu, his uneasy sidekick, trailed behind, cautious and serious. "Thanos, focus. We need to kill at least one before time's up." "Relax, man. Killing's easy. It's the waiting that sucks." As Reds hunted, Blues scrambled desperately, keys jangling as they fumbled to unlock doors. Thanos, however, reveled in chaos. At one point, he ambushed a Blue trying to sneak a swap back to Red, stabbing him repeatedly. Then, just for laughs, he threw the dying man's keys far away and walked away humming. Later, Nam-Gyu begged him to conserve energy for the next game, but Thanos took another pill with a grin. "Energy? I got enough chaos in me to burn this whole place down," says Thanos. Minutes ticked by. Reds had killed a few people. Executions loomed. The pressure spiked. Suddenly, Thanos spotted Gi-Hun darting, desperate but determined, clutching keys like his life depended on it. Because it did. Thanos lunged, laughing madly. "Come here, old man. Wanna play?" Gi-Hun dodged, heart pounding. But then, in a moment no one expected, Thanos caught him, not to kill, but to drag him into a dark corner. "Listen up," Thanos whispered, pupils dilated and manic. "I'm not your enemy right now. You're the one thing interesting left in this crap game." Gi-Hun stared, suspicious but out of options. They struck a volatile, temporary truce. Thanos, still drugged, covered Gi-Hun as they darted to an exit door. The buzzer screamed. Time ran out. Next was jump rope. The bridge loomed terrifying, with the giant dolls watching. The bridge's deadly gap mocked everyone. Nam-Gyu nervously asked for pills. Thanos smirked and shook his head. "I'm saving mine for the big finish." The tension thickened as players hesitated to start. Thanos pushed Nam-Gyu forward first. "Go on, don't chicken out now." Nam-Gyu jumped. The rope swung, barely missing his feet. Thanos followed, moving with wild, erratic energy, laughing off near misses. At the gap, Nam-Gyu leapt nervously. Thanos decided to change the rules again. Instead of catching Nam-Gyu as promised, he caught his neck harshly mid-air. Nam-Gyu gasped, stumbling precariously on the ledge but not falling. "Relax, man, not today," Thanos chuckled, shaking his head. It was a sick game of trust and betrayal, but this time Thanos saved Nam-Gyu. The other players eyed Thanos, unsure whether to fear or laugh at him. The remaining players crossed in a frenzied scramble. When Thanos reached the end, he cracked a joke. "Next round, I'm gonna dance on the rope." Finally, the Sky Squid game. Players ascended onto the massive pillars, square, triangle, and circle, the final brutal battle. Thanos looked around, still jittery but strangely focused. He'd never been a team player, but now he eyed Gi-Hun with something like grudging respect. Round after round, players pushed each other, bodies teetering on the edge, some falling screaming into the void below. Thanos fought savagely, laughing while shoving opponents off with reckless abandon. At one point, he whispered to Gi-Hun, "Want to see a magic trick?" Before Gi-Hun could respond, Thanos shoved another player off the triangle pillar with a wild yell. But the game wasn't over. At the last pillar, the circle, only Thanos and Gi-Hun remained. Thanos' laughter faded. He looked tired, a flicker of clarity cutting through the madness. Gi-Hun, battered and bruised, watched him warily. Then, in a move that shocked everyone, Thanos stepped aside. He looked at Gi-Hun and grinned, drugged but sincere in his own twisted way. "Go on, you deserve this." Gi-Hun hesitated, stunned. Suddenly, a security drone activated, signaling the game's end. But Thanos, knowing what was coming, made his move. With a chaotic yell, he lunged forward, not at Gi-Hun, but at himself, forcing a desperate fall off the platform. He tumbled down the abyss, leaving Gi-Hun alone on the pillar. Gi-Hun looked up, disbelief and sorrow clashing in his eyes. Thanos' last words echoed faintly. "Don't thank me. I'm just high as hell." In the aftermath, Gi-Hun was crowned winner. But the memory of Thanos, a wild, dangerous, and ultimately self-sacrificing villain, haunted the games. Thanos never became a hero. He remained the chaotic force of destruction and dark humor to the very end, saving Gi-Hun in the only way he knew, by taking the fall himself, on his own unpredictable terms. But there's yet another possibility. What if Thanos was a VIP all along? Throughout the games, Thanos had been unpredictable, wild, and seemingly fueled by his own chaotic impulses. His manic grin, jittery movements, and erratic choices appeared to be the actions of a drug-addled, desperate player simply trying to survive by any means. Yet, beneath that frenetic surface lay a pattern too precise to be random. Look closer. From the start, Thanos had access to pills that no one else did. Those small capsules rattling in his crossed necklace, which he swallowed at crucial moments to boost his focus and energy. Other players begged for pills, pleaded to conserve their strength, but Thanos always denied them. He never shared? Why? Because he wasn't just another contestant. His unpredictable behavior wasn't just madness, it was chaos, a performance designed to unsettle others, to shift the balance of power in subtle ways. Thanos never aligned fully with any group, but his momentary alliances were perfectly timed. When he spared Nam-Gyu mid-air on the jump rope game, it wasn't mercy, it was strategy. He knew the eyes of the watchers, the hidden observers who controlled the game, were always watching for signs of rebellion, weakness, or entertainment. And entertainment was key. Thanos played the role of the wild card, the chaos agent, injecting a volatile energy that kept the games unpredictable, ensuring the audience never lost interest. His dark humor and theatrical displays weren't just for show, they were cues, signals for those behind the scenes. The truce with Gi-Hun? Another calculated move. Thanos recognized Gi-Hun as the true contender, the player with the strongest survival instincts and the highest emotional stakes. By teaming up briefly, Thanos ensured the game remained engaging, creating suspense for the VIPs watching. His final act sealed it. When the game reached its brutal climax, Thanos stepping aside, allowing Gi-Hun to stand alone on the last pillar, was more than an act of kindness. It was a deliberate choice, orchestrated to maximize drama and viewer satisfaction. Then his sudden, chaotic plunge, was it despair or spectacle? The answer lies in the aftermath. No one saw what happened in the shadows. Thanos vanished into a secret exit. The chaos, the drugs, the manic laughter, all a facade to maintain his cover. Later, among the VIPs enjoying their exclusive lounge, a familiar figure appeared. A shadow cloaked in luxury, watching screens with cold amusement. The same jittery eyes behind the cross necklace, now clear and sharp, analyzing every reaction, every twist. Thanos had never been just a player. He was one of them. A VIP indulging in the ultimate game, both participant and puppet master. The pills? A secret formula reserved only for the elite, enhancing reflexes and dulling pain, allowing him to perform the impossible. His erratic behavior? A mask to hide his true purpose. To keep the game alive, to stir the pot when it threatened to grow stale. The real game wasn't just survival, it was control. And Thanos, the chaotic enigma, was the VIP's wild card, ensuring the show went on, entertaining the masses with his dangerous dance. So, what if Thanos wasn't just another desperate player? What if his fall was no accident, but a carefully scripted exit designed to fuel the legend, to keep the game's dark heart beating for those watching in the shadows? In the end, maybe the greatest player of all was never on the stage.